Boom, boom. How's it going? How's it going? It is I again, TJ, and welcome to Empire Successful Friend. And today we've got someone else who is doing cool, and his name is Xabiso Ntanta. How's it going, Xabiso? Welcome to Empire Successful Friends.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, TJ.
Good, man. Good. Xabiso, who is Xabiso? Where are you from? And what do you do?
In a nutshell, actually basically born and bred in PE, Eastern Cape. I actually studied here, college, high school. My family is here, and I'm currently working, but actually focusing also on property. I actually did my high school here and my college years here. Yeah,
Sure.
so basically I'm that person in a nutshell. Yeah.
Okay. Good, good. So what do you on an everyday basis? You say you're working. What do you do? What do you do for a living?
I'm currently a technical assurer. Actually a technician in a way. Helping let's say people with their ADSL, fiber, and all things technical in terms of telecommunications actually.
Okay. Good, good. And in PE, you say that you've been raised in and you did everything in PE, which is great, amazing. But you are here because you also do real estate, all right? And I want to ask you the question to say, you look young to me. How old are you?
Currently just turned 22 this year, like in 24th of July actually.
You just turned 22.
Yeah, 24th.
Okay. All right, good. And you have already started real estate investing.
Yeah, actually, I actually started to learn more about it, but I actually came across like real estate and everything, property investment by accident, to be honest, because I was actually like more a person of YouTube, so I was just like learning and learning and learning. So that's why I actually, or that's when I actually came across real estate and property investment. So I actually take it from there and going forward.
Sure, I get it. So you've been learning from I think there's this YouTube generation. I think a lot of people that are maybe plus 40 or plus 50. They would have never been exposed at a younger age like you for YouTube, because YouTube only started around about in the 90s, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. But there's a lot of information that is now sitting on YouTube that can actually, take you into a different place of thinking, take you into a different place of knowledge that you didn't have before. And it looks like this is what you have done. So how did it start? I mean, for you, you're saying that it was an accident, but now you've started doing real estate. Yes, you found it as an accident, but now you've put money into it. Just tell me in terms of when you actually started to say, I think I want to do this on YouTube. When you were going on YouTube, what did you learn from it for it to start making sense for you?
Okay. Back in college, I was actually studying in Midlands College. Back then, I was actually doing IT and computer science. So back then, also I was not actually more or even thought about real estate or property investment or anything like that, because I was more also in currency trading. I was actually doing Forex trading. So other lecturers that I was actually trading with, because there were some two, Mr. Elvis, that I was actually trading with. But I actually came across this guy because I was trying also there on YouTube just to learn more about, let's say, financial markets, how to trade and everything. But I came across this guy because, like, I think like most people that are actually started in real estate actually heard of him, or like, let's say, get inspiration from him. So I was actually scrolling down, and there was this guy called Robert Kiyosaki. So I was just like more into his videos, and he was like talking so much sense into how he's actually let's say property and education in general. So I was just
Yeah.
hooked in on what he was actually saying. So for me, I was actually like one video led to another, led to another, led to another. So I actually like not listening to him. So I was actually referencing to other videos also in terms of property investment, how you can actually use equity to leverage, how to like say expand, how to get your property like with no money down actually. So
Yeah.
this is where I actually started. And yeah, so I actually was more interested and actually bought his book and learned
Which
more.
one? Which one
And
did you buy?
both of them actually. There was this one, Fake, and also Rich Dad Poor Dad. So I was actually
Okay.
more interested in what he was actually saying because he made real estate property investment so much easy to understand. Because I actually like even like someone who does not actually have that much money actually, he just say no. Why would you actually buy property with your own money? So just use other people's money to actually buy property and actually. So that actually made sense to me because at that age, like at my age, actually I'm broke. I'm not. I don't at that age at the time. I didn't actually have that much money in my pocket. So I actually just like find ways of leveraging actually other people's money to buy property. So that is what actually I learned from those videos and referencing to other information that is out there.
Dude, you're already speaking the big languages and the terminologies, and you're talking about leverages, you're talking about other people's money, and you're only 22 years old. I don't think I don't think you probably get the excitement, my excitement for you, because a lot of people, I mean, a lot of people would start buying properties maybe in their 30s or even their 40s. I mean, I know people in their 60s that haven't bought a property at all. They don't know anything about this. And you are starting this at a young age, 21 years, 22 years. You already understand what leverage is, which is amazing. Well done. I totally want to say big up to you. Well done on that.
Thank you.
You do know that Robert Kiyosaki is about 74, 5?
Yeah, he's actually good now.
Yeah,
No,
and
actually, yes. He is actually like quite old now because I was more like because like now he's doing more on podcast and everything. So I was actually more onto that also.
okay. And you do realize, I mean, your age group, it's a 60-year age group, right? I mean, you're in your 20s, he's in his 70s. So the age group there is huge. And I think for me, sitting under someone's counsel like that, listening to what he says, I call that grandfather wisdom, because this guy has gone through many, many deals. And obviously, just listening to him speak, obviously you're learning, right? But here you are, you start reading his books. I mean, he's got many books, right? He's written so many books. What did you like about the book Rich Dad Poor Dad? Because I mean, that was the book that made me also to start understanding real estate. I read my book in one night. I started reading it at around 8 o'clock. I was done by 4 in the morning. You know, what was your takeaway in the Rich Dad Poor Dad book?
Like just straight on from the bed, like Robert actually explains in terms of the people who are actually working from 9 to 5 and people who are actually working or trying to make money work for them. So that is actually one of the aspects because he actually says that like don't work for money because you actually think like an employee, but let money work for you. because his poor dad was actually more on, no, he was the smart guy. Went to varsity. He actually has these accolades in terms of education, is very well respected, but he was consistently working for money. And also he was not actually thinking or looking at the bigger picture. So in terms of that, also one of the aspects that actually just hooked me there in that book particularly is how he actually uses his rich dad's knowledge to actually put it in action. So because he was actually working for his best friend dad, is actually his rich dad, and he was actually working there. And particularly in terms of what makes sense to me is that he worked for free. So he was not actually having that mindset of an employee, because he was, the rich dad said there, if you actually start to actually work for me, and you will think like an employee, so you will just actually want more, let's say, salary and everything. But if you actually work for free and actually don't let money work for you, this is where you actually like think like as an investor, and you can actually think of other avenues to make more money. So this is actually one thing that made me hooked into the book. And actually going forward in everything that he's actually saying, they actually made so much sense to me.
Yeah, I like that. But then you go on to look at Forex, and now you left Forex and you're now concentrating on property. But what was the difference between the two? Are you still doing Forex trading, or you've stopped?
To be honest with you, in property market, you will know this. You don't actually have any control of what is going to happen. The market goes up, it goes down, and goes up and goes down. So it's not something that you are actually in control of. But in terms of property, something that you can actually, it's like your ideas, your handling in terms of how you actually handle the business as a person. And you are actually in control, hands-on in everything. As an investor, as a property, you can be a property manager also your property if you don't know how to manage the property well. And in terms of rental, like it's actually a consistent kind of business where, if you actually have this 5 tenants per month, they are actually going to pay you this certain fee per month. So in terms of financial markets, there is no consistency. So, but I actually am not too much, because there's a company that I'm actually working with now that I try to get funding on, but I'm not trading as much. I was trading back then. So I'm actually more into learning property now, rather than emphasizing much more in financial markets.
Yeah. And neither am I trying to position the fact that in Forex there is no money. I'm always of the view that everyone can choose their own poison. For me, it is real estate. There are many windows to financial freedom, and for some other people, you might just understand trading, and that's great. I've got mates actually that do both. They go out, they do some Forex trading, they get their profits, and then they put it in real estate. And it's specifically for it's almost hedging. They know that in real estate, properties is more stable, and they are hedging their money. But you haven't stopped working though. You're still working. But before I start jumping on onto your working.
Mm-hmm.
When you told your parents that you're now doing this real estate, what did your parents say? I mean, you're just 22, man, and you want to go and get debt.
To be honest with you, my mom and dad actually they haven't get the idea of property investment, because I was trying to. They don't fully know that I'm actually in the business. But I actually once told my dad, I'm actually no, I'm trying to do this in terms of property. He was like, no, like, yo, what are the loans, the bonds? and all the things that normal people would just say no. You're actually setting up yourself for failure.
Yeah, this,
That's
I like the way you say no more people. Of course, your
yeah.
parent is the normal person.
Yeah, yeah. Because they were like, no, no, you're setting yourself up to failure. No, don't actually like look to like bigger things. Just like keep calm now. Just like lay low, still young and everything. So I'm
Yeah.
actually quite skeptical in terms of laying the beans, so they say. In terms of explaining or telling them that I actually have a property that I'm actually I've just purchased and tenants that are living there on the property, but I'm quite not ready yet to actually explain it to them because they will probably talk me out of it also. So that's the reason why they will actually learn more when I actually drive like two cars, I don't know, or live in some way and actually just explain them actually on property. But currently they don't actually have the full idea that I'm actually in property investment.
Okay. Okay. Well, after this video, they might know. Um, you might need to be prepared to tell them how you are doing it.
I'm prepared. I'm prepared. I'm prepared.
But
Yeah.
I think that's a very the reason why I asked you this question is because I know for a fact when I also started, my dad was long dead by that time, and my mom is still alive, and up until now, my
Mm.
mom is still skeptical about it. She's
Mm.
always thinking that, what if things go wrong? What if
Yeah.
the bank comes through? What if this? So there's lots of what ifs that people think about, and then they put themselves in a
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah.
And I was telling my mother the other day that, but you do know that at the moment, I don't
Mm.
have a job that you want me to have.
Mm.
This
Mm.
property is my job. So
Yeah.
it actually, right now, today, if you are sick or if you need anything, it is those properties that are paying me that.
Yeah.
And people don't get it.
Mm.
So I just want to check in with you. So you're a
Mm.
technician. You work like
Mm.
everyone else, right?
Yeah.
So you're supposed to be at work at 8 o'clock. You finish off
Mm.
4 o'clock.
Mm. Mhm.
So where do you then find the time to go and do
Mhm.
property, to
Mhm.
do trading?
Mhm.
And so, where do you find the time? Because that's the
Mhm.
other reason that a lot of people are always saying that they don't have the time. And then you're spending hours and hours also on YouTube. How much time do you spend on YouTube actually before you answer my other question?
Probably like most of my time because it's probably like 6 hours to 5 hours I spend more on like YouTube. But in terms of work, my job like hours are actually from 8 to 5. But it actually ranges some of the times. But straight after that, I'm actually like, I don't know, property, there's this Property 24 and private properties are more the sites that I actually just visit also more often, like just to check and see the deals, the markets in terms of the area, the area where the property is. So it's like you actually have to schedule for everything. It's like to learn to look for property and to learn about property investment also. So for me, to be honest, in terms of my lifestyle also, there's nothing much that I actually do for the person like obviously right, in my age group 24 20 21 to 24 25. I'm always indoors. Actually, I'm always reading stuff. I'm always trying to know more about something because I'm not saying that since I'm actually in property investment, I actually have a property that I actually have. That's so like straight off the bed, like I know it all now. Like no, I actually try to get also a person that, especially in Port Elizabeth, that is also in property that can actually show me how to actually get deals, how to get profitable deals, and to look what is actually the right market to actually invest in. So there's always time for everything. So also, as you know, this property, you don't actually have to be hands-on 24/7. You can actually have a property and it can manage itself. You don't actually have, let's say, much vast of properties. Like if you actually have 2 or 3 properties, you can actually just pitch in here and there. So it doesn't actually take my time to actually prevent me to do other things. I can have a property and actually do other things as well. And if ever it needs my time or it needs my attention, then I will actually just attend to it as well.
Okay. So the last time we were talking, me and you, and we were doing the preparation of this video that we're doing now, you were telling me that you'd already just purchased your first property, and I was saying to you, you know, at 20, I mean, you were still 21 at the time, and we were saying at 21, I'm 40, by the way, right? So normally bonds in South Africa run for 20 years. So by the time you're going to get to my age, this property that you just bought recently, right? It's going to be paid up. And then from there on, that property will give you cash for the rest of your life.
Correct.
That's number one. Number two, that property will appreciate value. Maybe the price that you bought it today, it would have gone maybe double, right?
Correct.
And then the same property that you bought now, in the future, you can also leverage off it if you want to. But you know, I'm only talking about leverage because earlier on you were talking about leverage. What is your understanding of leverage when you say leverage?
Okay, my understanding in terms of leverage is, in terms of this particular property that I've just bought, you're quite correct. In every aspect, because for me, age was not in terms of a factor because people have this mindset of it's not the right time. It's not the right time because if you actually look for the right time, it's not going to come. So just go and actually have a freedom to fail. When you actually fail, you actually learn more and actually will say, no, I won't actually even go there next time around. So in terms of buying the property, like for me, in terms of leveraging of it to buy another one is to like hold it for a particular time and for it to actually gain equity and so that I can actually take that equity in terms of that property to leverage to buy another property. So in terms of that, this is actually one thing that I've just learned. Also just to leverage more into property and use debt actually to get, let's say, to another property, or let's say investors or people that are keen to what I'm actually doing. Perhaps actually using their credit to actually purchase another property and actually work it as a partnership. So that is actually some of the leverages that you can actually use in terms of property, and it's actually so flexible to grow into this business in the near future. Because I'm also trying to get another one. I know you will actually talk against this, but
wait. You just finished buying your first one. Now you want to buy another one.
Yeah, there is a property that I was actually looking at. I know this is actually not in your top of in terms of marketplace, but it's actually at the townships. They actually had 5 units in it, and actually have as a big yard. So I was trying to. I'm actually in the process of.
What is the property again? Tell me again.
Pardon?
What did you say now? I didn't hear you nicely.
Okay. The second property that I'm actually trying to get is actually more at the townships. So it's a 5 unit. It's actually a 5 unit. It actually has flats that I actually are rented out by 5 tenants, and it's actually going for about 200K. So it's just like, 200K. It's something that I actually can negotiate a little bit better off because it was actually under offer. So I'm trying to get that property because I know you were actually on the other videos that you were in. that you're not more keen into townships, properties and everything, but something that I want to try out and look into more into it. But obviously in terms of researching it and trying to get, because there's this thing in terms of townships who actually holds the title deed and so forth, and there's a feud. But obviously I'm going to research more into that. But I was just in the process of getting that property also.
So you know the reasons why I don't like buying in townships, right?
Yeah.
So the first one, for some of you who are watching right now, and you've never heard why I don't like buying in townships, is that some of our townships, the ownership is not there, right? So you're going to spend some money, and I've seen a lot of people paying cash, and they're paying cash to uncle so and so, but actually the house is owned by auntie so and so. But no, the house is actually not owned by auntie. It was the grandma's house. And this house hasn't been passed on, and now there's fights in the family. There are so many properties like those ones, and they would come cheap onto the market, but actually you're not buying anything, right? So the point there is, I always say to people, look, I like buying in townships, but I won't do it for the reasons that, number one, where I've just seen a lot of title deeds that are not there. That's number one. The second reason is that in the lot of townships that I've been to, and this is my view, people don't look after their properties. So for that reason, if you are improving your property and everyone else in the township is not improving their property, the value of your property is going down. Correct. Right? And then when you are actually now putting in back rooms and all of those things to make it good, what you're basically doing is over-capitalizing. But if you are comfortable with that as an individual, hey, it's a good investment, right? And if you're buying it, let's say what you're buying now, 5 units for 200,000, what is the average rent per unit?
In terms of the property, because the tenants that are actually there are paying more or less, because I was talking to the agent and what is currently happening, or how much they are paying. And getting to, as you're actually saying, more research in terms of who actually holds the title deed, talking to them personally and getting more information as I can, because I don't want to dive into something that I'm not sure of, or that is going to burn me in the long end. So I was trying to get more information to that, just to get more research. But for what is actually paid there by the tenants, 5 tenants, is actually 5 units with 5 tenants. So they're paying roughly right around 800 rands per month. So so it's actually huge. Say I can pay off some of the bond fees, and also have more funds to actually expand those units to, because it's actually a huge yard also, to where I can build on, so that I can actually increase the revenue also on my side.
Yeah, I mean, for a unit, if they're paying 800, you're already banking 4 grand on your 200,000. That's a very good return, just talking from a gross perspective. But let's jump on to talk about your property now. So you bought a property now, so you're an investor because you bought a property. You don't stay in it. Are you going to stay in it?
No, actually, no. I'm not going to actually
stay in.
No, not really.
Okay. So you bought this property specifically for renting it out. It's 21 years old. You said, nah, I'm going to buy a property and boom, I'm going to get someone else to pay off my property. That's what you've done here now, right? But at the bottom line of it, you've created accommodation for other people, So you do realize me and you and the president, we have the same problem, and we are solving that. We are helping the president help with the accommodation problem, and that's what's happening here. So here's the thing. Why did you decide to go and buy this specific property?
Yeah, good question. In terms of that, As I actually told you, for me actually going coming out of college, I was learning more and more and more in terms of property. So I
Yeah.
actually landed the job that I'm actually in now, and my my idea in terms of in everything, I don't want to work for the rest of my life where I'm actually going to be on a 9 to 5 job. That is actually not my future plans as an individual. So in terms of starting off in the job that I was actually in, I came off with an objective where I'm actually going to use this salary, because you actually have to start somewhere. You have to get it the form of salary to actually purchase the property. So I was actually in the job with an objective of at least getting the property and in getting comfortable enough to dive into the business. So I was actually I'm trying to get more in terms of knowledge, in terms of getting more tenants and everything there. But the reason why I actually got into it, it's not a matter of, because people let's say, especially in my generations, are not with an idea of getting property, getting financial freedom, actually partying and enjoying their 20s actually. But yes, there is something like that. But on my side, it's better to enjoy life if you're not broke. So if you actually have money, you enjoy more life. I don't care if you're actually 45 or 35. And as long as you actually have money to actually do those things. So on my side, there's a time for everything. So this is actually the reason why I actually went to property. So I went to it with an objective to purchase the property and get more properties in the long run in terms of that.
Okay, good. What? I mean, we heard what you did say. And your mom, does she not know still that you're buying this property?
No, no, no. Like, my mom does not actually have an idea, but my dad, I was trying to come off in a way where I'm like, no, I'm actually trying to get this property, and I'm looking at on how to actually get it. So he was just like, no, don't even buy properties. You're still young and everything and everything. I was like,
Yeah.
and my parents are those kind of people that are very strict, and they'll just talk me out of every situation. They will say, no, don't take yourself seriously, you're still young and everything, just
Yeah.
relax. And but that actually failed, because I was trying to have a way to actually tell my dad, but it seemed like he would actually take it properly. But my mom is actually doesn't know nothing actually. But
Okay.
yes, my sister actually knows that is I actually bought one, but I don't think they have. She actually disclosed it to my parents. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
How is this your older sister or your baby sister?
My older sister. My older sister. She
Okay.
was actually because she saw I forgot to hide her to my status, so she saw my post and she was like, "Yo, you you bought a property. Like, why?" I was like, "Yo, you're not supposed to know," but I actually just told her. But I don't think she told my parents, because I haven't got any calls from them to ask me about anything about property.
Wow, the things
Yeah.
that we have to do as investors to run away from our family.
Yeah.
And yeah. But
Yeah.
I think where do you're on your second property now? So your first
Yeah.
property done, dusted. Do you have tenants now?
Yes, I actually bought the property with tenants in it, because that's the reason why I actually
Okay.
even bought it. They were actually paying roughly 4.5 per month, but the
Yeah.
property was about 180,000. But I think I
Okay.
should have, I think I should have got it like way less, because
Stop it, man. Now
because
you want to be like me now. What is wrong with you?
yeah, because I was trying, because like my negotiation skills at then, because as I said before, we learn from these things in terms of negotiating, but I feel like I could have got the property for way less. But yes, there are tenants there. There are two tenants that are currently living at the property, and they're paying roughly 4.5 per month. And but in terms of deductions, in terms of the bond, actually, obviously, and the levies and everything. So I'm quite holding the property for a short while for another deposit for the second property also. But I was trying to I was working with the bank and also with the agent and the person who's actually owning the property to the second property to actually get more information on what is happening. But surprisingly enough, I was approved for this second one. But for me, being skeptical from your lessons and in terms of the township's investments, I was trying to get more information of what is happening there at the property, who's actually holding the title deed, and who is actually the sole owner of the property, just to get to the business knowing with a clear mindset and being me comfortable going into the property to begin with.
So in Port Elizabeth, so this property here that you bought it for 180,000, and you already have two. So you are 22 years old. At 22, one property you bought it for 180, and you got two tenants already, and over and above that, they're giving you about 4,500. You're cash flowing. You're making profit onto that property already from day number one. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, man? I mean, you're on property number 2 already. I'm excited for you, bro.
Yeah, thank you very much. For me, actually, I want to create other avenues in terms of businesses, but at this point, I'm trying to learn more in terms of transportation and logistics. But I'm trying to learn more in terms of that because I want to create a system where the funds that I'm actually getting to a particular business to fund the properties, to get more properties, and to not actually have to focus more on property, but to get other businesses so that I can actually grow my portfolio in terms of property. Like the McDonald's model, they don't sell a McDonald's, not a hamburger about a business, it's a real estate business. So kind of that strategy. So yeah, I'm actually trying to expand, but I'm at this point, I'm focusing more also and learning more in terms of transportation and logistics, in terms of getting cars and transports, just like a taxi industry. But yeah, I'm trying to learn more in terms of that.
Cool, man. So at the moment, you started learning on YouTube. That was your education, and the real education now it started because now you're doing it, right? I always tell people, yeah, you can go to a class, you can go on YouTube and all of those things, but the real education really starts when you are actually practicing something. So well done for you to getting your first property. Now you're on your second property. Well done on that. What is the one thing that you probably didn't know, or maybe you underestimated before you bought your property, that you are now thinking, I think I need to understand this a little bit more now that I have a tenant?
Yeah, good question, because now for me, being me, because as you're saying, is that you have to learn things by practically doing them. But I actually bought the property in my name, so I'm trying to get rid of that and actually buy it in my business name that I've just actually created. So that's one thing I was not aware of, and I was not aware in terms of what can actually happen. So so this is actually one thing that I actually underestimated, because I was actually hearing you and the lady that you work with, not don't buy property in your name. It's actually the worst thing that you can actually do. So I understand now why is that. And one thing that I actually underestimated in property is that some people will say property is a slow movement to success, but they fail to understand that nothing worth having comes easy. So we actually have to be consistent and more in that know and stick to your guns in terms of what you're trying to achieve. So that's one thing that I do underestimate in terms. I do estimated that property is actually something that can grow significantly if you get the proper education. And obviously, on my side, and at this point, I'm trying to get people that are in property or successful in property to just learn more into what they are currently doing, how they are going to, in terms of expanding and doing things in the proper way. So I'm actually always open to learn more new things, things that I actually didn't know. But you will actually, for me, in this point, I'm learning as I go. So I don't want to make reckless decisions because of the point of learning from my mistakes. But I just want to do things in a mindful way, in a sober-minded way, where I'm actually thinking of logic rather than looking at the property and be like, yo, this is so beautiful, and so forth and so forth and so forth. So yeah, that's about it on my.
So you're the first one in your family to understand real estate. You're the first one in your family to start investing in property. Your parents are not like that. Your grandparents, they're not like that. And you said earlier on that your parents are normal people. Almost sounds like me and you are no longer normal anymore. But I want to chip into that. You are very right. You are very right to say that your parents are very normal. There are not so many people in the world that are like you and me that devote their lives into learning. So some people, they get into a particular space and they're like, I'm cool now, I've arrived. I'm now a doctor, I'm now an engineer, I'm now a what. Yeah. So they think that they've arrived. And I really like your spirit of learning. You're very young, so keep it up, continue learning. I'm also learning. I've got a business, yes, it's doing cool, but I'm also learning. I'm learning as I go all the time because life changes and there's different things that come in, there's different aspirations. Back in the days, I needed to buy a 2-bed, 1-bath. I've done it. But now, what's the next thing? You have done the same thing, and you're now saying, what's the next thing? And you need to have a better person, a better you, to get to the next stage. So, whilst we are wrapping up now, I want to ask you the question of people who are within their 20s. What is the advice that you would give them with you now earning income from your first property? So you if I do my mathematics roughly, you kind of like cash flowing like 1,000 rand, right? It's free money that's coming to you, right? And whether you wake up, you go to work, you don't, this 1,000 is gonna come either way, right?
Either way, yeah.
On this next deal that you're going to be doing here, you probably maybe cash flow around about another 1,000. So now you got 2,000 free money that's going to be coming through. And I don't know how much you're earning. You probably maybe like let's say assuming you're earning 10 grand, and in no time you have 2 grand. And if you continue doing more deals, you can literally do more deals that will make you par to par with your 10 grand that you're earning at work. And you go freedom. That's one-on-one freedom. What is the advice that you would give to those that are not starting off, but in their 20s? They're like in your 20s, they don't know anything about this thing. What's your advice?
To be honest, just to be straightforward, because there's this thing of, it's a lie actually. There's this thing of, I'm still young, I have so much years to enjoy in my life. This is actually a facade and a lie, because there's no such thing. You're never too young to actually start something. Because to now to today's era, there's this thing where you are, since I'm actually between 21 and 27 and 28, I'm still young. I want to find myself, and I shouldn't actually put pressure to myself because I have this freedom of years to actually still acquire. There's no such thing. It's actually a life start. And for me, I'm not saying that don't enjoy your youth years and don't go out with your friends and everything. But just do that with a cautious mind, because the things that youth actually do now, they will catch up on them when they're actually 35, 28, 29, and they will be like, yo, because you were actually still enjoying your youth, because those things now are actually catching up. You'll find people now being drug addicts, and now they will actually be like having 3 kids because they were actually enjoying their youthful years during the days. So be mindful of that. I will actually just tell them, be mindful of that, and just learn skills that will actually empower people. Because there's this thing also in terms of, especially in my generation, in terms of get rich quick scheme. There's no such thing. Just learn the skills, because there was a guy that I was actually talking to. He said he's actually on transportation. He actually has huge lines of taxis. He was like, the greatest asset that you can possibly get in this earth is actually people. People are actually the greatest asset you will actually find. So just don't have this mindset of I want to get money. How can I actually get money? How can I actually make 50,000 rands per month? No, just like find ways to actually empower people. How can you actually help people to actually get their lives better? Because people will actually have your next 50,000 rand, have your next million, have your next. But if you can actually serve serve them with those services. And lastly, just to learn, just to advise them to actually learn about equity. Just learn about equity. Don't buy things that don't actually bring you equity. Because now my friend of mine actually bought he bought like a golf a golf GTI, but he's actually still living at his mom's back room. I was like, yo, dude, like why? But he's actually his life. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. But buy things that can bring you equity, because that particular vehicle, I won't actually call it an asset. That particular vehicle will actually depreciate along the years and actually never bring you any kind of equity. But in property, you can actually buy a property and you can build up and actually have that equity, and you can use that equity to get another property. So yeah, that's about it. Like they must actually do things in a more cautious way. There's no such thing as we are still young to do something. Just start and learn and gain new skills as you actually learn.
Awesome stuff. With the books that you have been reading, or maybe not books, but YouTubing, is there a particular place maybe where you can direct people to say, hey, if you're wanting to learn, go to this YouTube, or this particular book helped me in my thinking. And what would those give us direction on those two things?
For me, the particular channels, I will actually advise them to actually learn more. If ever, it's actually in terms of property. It's actually a good way. There's a channel called obviously the Robert Kiyosaki's channel, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and just learn more about that, because there's this girl also that usually interviews her about people in my age that can actually start out in terms of real estate. That can be a really good reference to actually look at. And also there's this guy called Jack Davis. That guy is actually someone that actually clears out in terms of how you can actually expand in property, how you can use equity to buy property. how you can use other people's money to actually get your properties. And yeah, that is actually one of them. But in terms of the book, just learn more in terms of this just wherever you go, just purchase Rich Dad Poor Dad. Just learn the book. Just go buy it. Don't think about it. Just go buy the book. And also but yeah, like there's this Dale Carnegie. I love that book. Also, how to influence people and make friends. And 48 Laws of Power. Yeah, that is for social kind of books. Yeah, that is actually a good reference to actually look at and be in a clear mindset of how to maneuver in terms of social life and also property in terms of investing in everything. So yeah.
So you've been awesome, man. Well done so far. And to your success, man, I really like what you're doing. I like the way you think. I like the fact that you're taking action. Dude, you have no idea what your future looks like. If you continue on this pace, it's going to be freaking amazing. I can tell you that. Continue buying, continue learning. Welcome to the learning aspect of life. And again, well done. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Xabiso all the way from Port Elizabeth. Hey, Port Elizabeth doesn't it have a new name? It's got a new name.
Yeah,
I knew that.
Yeah.
I'm still learning how to pronounce it. I'll get there one day. Yeah. So thanks a lot for being here. And to your success and cheers.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's very an honor and a pleasure to talk to the masses out there.
Awesome.
Bye. Bye.